Hi everyone. In this video I just want to talk about proper formatting of tables and how to make these tables as well. I've been receiving some feedback from you guys, thank you, on things that maybe weren't so clear or just how to improve on the table making. So for each assignment I will not be making a specific rubric, but I will be giving you guys some things to go over because each table is going to be a little bit different. So not one rubric is going to fit. Not everything is going to be that specific. The specifics I can give you, we're going to actually go over last week's assignment as an example. But when you open up a new sheet, I'm sorry, that's why I had that there. You're automatically on Calibri font size 11. That will be the new standard. The font has to be Calibri and it has to be size 11. Like I said, that's default. So when you open up a new spreadsheet, it's already going to be that way. And when we're using numbers, I want 2 decimal points. And when we're using percentages, I want it up to a whole number, so no decimals. Later on, I will be demonstrating that. I just want to get all the rules out now so you guys can take notes on it. And then I'll apply all of it when we're making these new tables. Another thing is with these rows, these need to stay this size or bigger. You cannot make them any smaller. Like, so if you have a lot of typing, I know in another video I showed you the text wrap, if there's enough on the first one when we had all the long links in order to make the columns not, a foot long, how to text wrap. So that's fine that if your column, or the rows get wider, but you cannot narrow it anymore. It makes it extremely hard to read. So there's really no need to even adjust this. We need to make it bigger. I mean, yes, you can do that, but I find text wrap to be easy. It keeps it more consistent. And I do not want you guys going online and finding templates and putting in numbers that way. Why I don't want you guys using templates is because they already have the formulas in them. And when you use that, it defeats the whole purpose of the assignment. If you're always going to be using templates, you don't get to learn the math that is behind the numbers. So, I mean, we've all had technology fail. There's might come a time where you do not have your back office computer working. You can still pull your numbers off your front system, but you have no way. Let's say you couldn't even get to an Excel spreadsheet. I know we're using Excel spreadsheets, but we're putting in the numbers. We're doing the formulas in order to make these numbers happen. So if you're using templates, you're not going to know how to do that because you're just plugging in numbers and it does the math for you. We're telling it what to do. All we're using Excel for is a calculator. You still have to tell it what to put in. So like I said, if you're using templates, it doesn't show me that you understand how to get the number that you are trying to get. And then when you're done making a table, check the print preview. So, actually, we'll go over it when I'm done showing you the other tables. But when you look at it, think to yourself, well, actually, let's pretend that you are printing the spreadsheets to show an investor or a bank in order to receive money for, let's say, remodeling your bathrooms, okay? They want to see your numbers. They want to see how this business is going, if you're going to be able to repay back or pay back the debt. They need to see these numbers. So when you look at that print preview, think, is it easy to read? Are the columns not so spaced out that you can't follow the rows into what the information is? I want to make sure I hit excuse me one sec. I'm just double checking my notes to make sure Yeah, the rest of it I'll go over. So just, you need to be able to look at it. And like I said, there's going to be, there's always an example, whether it's exhibit, whatever in the book or in the video. I'm going to show you what the table needs to look like. You need to be able to follow that example. And when you use templates, it will make it harder to get the desired look that we are trying to achieve. So if you still have any more questions on specifics on how the table is going to look, please email me. I've hit all the points that people have been asking me about, and now we're going to kind of go over that. I'm going to make a whole new table. People have asked, how do I get a table that looks like this? In the first video, I showed you how to just insert a table. And it looks a little bit different than this table because it doesn't have those columns. So I'll show you one thing with when you insert a table. It automatically pops it up and it gives you a certain style. So if you want those columns gone right here, the header row, gone, but then it leaves this blank, that's fine. You can use this as your first row, or you can highlight all these, and this will give you the borders that you're looking for. Now with this example, it is not going to be the same color. You see how this is green, this is black. Let's go back under the format. You can also change the way the tables look. Now if we're looking for a professional polished look, you're going to find more of the black and the greens is what you're going to see when you're out, when you even receive invoices or any kind of other spreadsheet you see. They're going to be looking like one of these two. Now the point of the different colors is to be able to see each row a lot easier. And you can see with this table I did not do that because it's all under a certain topic. So we don't want to make your eyes look at everything separately because this is all lumped under the sale. So I want that to be what you notice the most and not just every other one. I hope that makes sense to everyone. And you can make these all by yourself. You don't even have to get into inserting a table. So I'll show you how to do that. So in order to save time for the video, I'm not going to enter all the information. I'm just going to copy and paste the table that we have now with no formatting in it, and then show you how to format it to look like that, because what I'm showing you is exactly what I did for this one. I'll accept the copy paste part. I just entered all the information. Okay, so here we're going to talk about, first thing we're going to talk about the sizing of the columns. So as you can see, we can't see all of this column. So I know I've talked about before double clicking on here. That works. You can slide it over, which is going to be used a lot because you want to give it some room, but not too much room. Okay, that really didn't need to be extended because this isn't formatted right. So now you need to keep looking at the columns and adjust as needed. As of right now, that looks pretty good. Maybe a smidge bigger. Like I said, to kind of give it like breathing room. Get the furthest one away. Right here we have numbers, and we know we want to have 2 decimal points. Oh, and I did not specify, I'm sorry, we also want to use the number symbol. So it's all right here. Look, see, it didn't, now that it's changed, that's not enough room. So let's slide it over a little bit more. All right. Now, for some reason, it did not give you 2 decimal points. Click this little arrow down here, and you can change how many decimal points you want. Now let's format the percentage to look right. So you can click up here on percentage. Luckily, that gave us what we want. But once again, if it gives you a different number, maybe it did give you decimal points. Once again, just change it in here. But we need to be on the same page about this. So it needs to be a whole number with percentages 2 decimal points with numbers. So that's not terrible. We can always, let's put in some color and then look at how it looks again. So you see over here, I just filled in colors. What I'm going to do first is make the table itself stand out. Know where it starts and where it ends by putting a border around it. You can do that right over here. Different options. We can do just the outside. Let's do an outside thick border. Now we need to put some color in there. Actually, we need to format this as well. So we can highlight all these cells, merge and center. Now we can put some color in there. Now with these, like I said, you do have leeway on your color, but let's think about being professional and how it looks all together. You pick lots of bright colors and different like color families. It might make, oh, wrong one. It might make it a little bit harder to read. That just reminds me of McDonald's right there. Awful coloring there. So if you look on the colors, they also have color themes. So this should be your home. This is the different colors you want to have in there. So we'll just start with this one. Usually I like to use darker on the more important, what it is. You know, you're drawing attention to what this statement is. So this one, you know your restaurant, but let's give it a different color. Ooh, let's stay in the same family. I use the last one. Okay. So let's go up there. And now we want to make these stand out. Cost of sales. I mean, I think we all understand the concept. Everybody highlighted yellow for the assignment, so I feel like everyone understands this concept, but just didn't know how to apply it to a table. And there we go. I said, depending on the table is how you want the style. And those will always be given to you as an example. If you do not understand or you're kind of questioning it, shoot me an email before you send in the assignment. I mean, I'm not going to do it for you and tell you this has to be done. But hey, look, this is what I have. Is this what you're looking for? There's nothing wrong with that kind of email. I'm glad that you guys are giving me that chance to give you feedback. You guys need to be able to take that feedback and grow from it, not get upset about it and put blame on other things. So here we are. Here's how to make that table. Now I just want to show you a little bit more about how the columns and rows, when they differ, how that looks and how it makes it harder to read. So let's just throw in another column here. Now look how far that stretches out in the rows. So now when you look at food, the number is a lot further away, and it makes it harder and makes the rows look more undefined when you can't read all the way down. It's almost unnecessary. No, it really is unnecessary. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and delete that back. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and let's make this a little bit different and see what it looks like when you are going to print it off. So one other thing is the cells here. So if you were to go and print this right now, these individual cells are not going to be shown unless you tell it to, or grid lines as they call it. So if you look under here, under view, right now, we're already telling it we want the grid lines. And you take the grid lines off. Now it's even harder to see what that is. It's harder to follow. When you have more columns, you might want to consider putting the grid lines in. Like I said, that if it comes to that in the assignments, you will know whether you need them or not. But I just want you guys to see what it looks like with and without it. So let's go ahead and preview this as we're going to print it. So here is the table that I made versus the table that's got a little extended columns in there. You see how that's a little bit harder to see? The information spread out. We don't need to make this difficult. The point of a spreadsheet is to have a lot of information in front of us and it's easy to read. Do you guys agree that this other table is a little bit easier when the columns aren't too big? I mean, this one we could even take in that this first column. We could even take that in a little bit. That's why I said it's hard to give a specific rubric on sizes of this. I mean, really, we got to just be able to look at the example I give you and what you're making and say, hey, is this close? I mean, I'm not going to say there needs to be so much space between everything. That you guys need to be able to make that decision. I generally do not mark off on formatting like that unless I can't read it or it is difficult to read. I don't want you to overthink it, but just use a little bit of common sense. Is it easy to read? Just one more time going over my notes, make sure I hit on everything that everyone had asked about. You guys seem to be doing really great with the formulas. No one seemed to have any problems with those, just the specifics on stuff and how to make different style tables. That is all the notes I can find. If there's something I missed, please, please, please email me so we can all be on the same page on how you want this to look. And that's it. Like I said, this week you guys already have a table made. So you're just putting in the numbers and putting in the correct formulas, the correct math behind it. If you have any questions about anything, please email me. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your week.